It's been a long time since we've seen each other, Russ, and now in your role as president of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, you have even more to share.
Absolutely. It has been a long time since we've seen each other. We actually went to high school together a while back.
As the president now of the Chamber, share a little bit more about the history and your role now in revitalizing downtown Honolulu.
Okay, so there's two aspects to what you just asked. The history, the Chinese Chamber started in 1911. It started as a result of Chinese merchants, businessmen trying to get together to make sure they could support their operations, and they wanted to protect the cultural heritage of the Chinese here in Hawaii. A lot of people don't realize what occurred back at the turn of the century. I'm talking about the 19th century or 1900s. Mm. There was two major fires in Chinatown, one in 1886 and then another one in 1900, where about 11,000 homes were burned. 38 acres of land here in Chinatown were destroyed. The reason they started the 1900 fire was because one person had died of the plague and they wanted to make sure they eradicated that. But the fire quickly got out of control because of the winds that were blowing, and so it destroyed a lot of homes. At the same time, in 1900, Hawaii became part of the United States as a territory. And as a territory of the United States, the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 took effect. So Chinese were banned or discriminated against at that point in time. So the merchants felt that they needed to get together to want to rebuild their community, rebuild Chinatown, where most of the Chinese were living at the time, but there were also a lot of Japanese and Hawaiians that lived in Chinatown. So they wanted to bring everybody together to help support the businesses and the people and to protect the culture. While I just became president in June of this year, a month and a half ago, we've already started a kickoff program. Cleaning the place up would be the first step.
It's a bit ironic that almost every city has a Chinatown. What you're saying now in Hawaii, coming together again, which was the purpose for the Chamber. How have the Chinese population or Chinese people been recognized for the good that they've done?
One of our founders was Hiram Fong. And as you know, he became the first Chinese or first Asian U.S. Senator in the United States, a statehood senator. That's one way we try to get some recognition.
So when we talk to our young people, right, about how Hawaii is not the melting pot, but we're a salad, right? We're all connected. We all are part of the fabric. What is it that you say to young people?
The Chinese Chamber has a young professionals group where we're trying to help the networking of the younger people, younger up and coming folks. You don't have to be Chinese to be part of the Chinese Chamber or the young professionals. The president-elect who's following me, he's a Caucasian fellow, and he's going to be the first Caucasian that's going to be the president of the Chinese Chamber, and we're really proud of him. For younger folks, what we're trying to do is trying to make sure that they have the necessary connections. In Hawaii, as we all know, business connections play a major role. Hawaii is a real person-to-person business kind of environment where who you know and what you know and how you know people is very helpful in whatever you're trying to accomplish. It's that people touch. I think that's part of the island culture. We all try to get along with each other. We don't honk our horns at people. Hawaii has a major brain drain of younger people that go off to the mainland and don't come back. And having younger people coming in and understanding how the system works and how the interplay between individuals work is very critical.
The Chamber is responsible for many other activities downtown, not only to bring businesses together.
One of our things that we're working on right now is the Congressional Gold Medal. The Congressional Gold Medal is an award that is being issued on behalf of the Congress, recognizing the contributions that the Chinese Americans contributed during World War II. There were 20,000 Chinese American veterans that participated in World War II, and they did not receive the recognition that other ethnic groups have received. And as a result, we are issuing these shirts, and we're selling these shirts as a part of the fundraiser so that we can make sure that we can pay for the gold medals to be able to issue them to all the remaining recipients.
And your father is one of them.
And my father was one of them. He was wounded in the Battle of the Bulge, and he was drafted right out of the University of Hawaii, American Army, just before the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Lila.
Thank you for listening to my conversation with Russell Lau, the president of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce.